Dying Light 2.
Oh, bro.
What?
You know Dying Light got like delayed indefinitely, right?
No, it was on the list coming out 2020. What?
Delayed indefinitely.
Oh. God. What's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Leroy.
I'm Michael.
So today, we've been meaning to get around to this. We still got a couple more to do.
You've requested it. We're finally doing it.
Games 2020!
Yeah, our top games that we're looking forward to in 2020.
That are coming out in 2020.
Yeah, we each pick 5 games.
You know, some of us had to pick 6 or 7. Because
We'll get to it as we go through the list. We'll go back and forth. I'll do one, you'll do one, we'll do that.
Kick this whole desk over now, man.
So, what the criteria that we came up with, it could be for any system, any platform, our top 5 games, and what we decided was it had to have a definitive release date.
Should have never agreed to that.
It had to have a definitive release date that's in 2020, and that will make our list. So we were talking about like some Ubisoft games we were looking forward to. We won't talk about the Assassin's Creed, Ragnarok,
Watch Dogs.
Since all that, there's no date on it yet.
I think the only thing that they have that's coming out, and I think that even that got delayed, was the it's not necessarily the expansion. So they had something in Rainbow Six where that this bioterrorism thing that came out.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's on here anyway. That I don't even know if that's still coming out because I think their whole 2020 slate.
Yeah, they're essentially waiting until now new consoles. It seems like
Ubisoft was.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Ubisoft.
I mean, you could go with a Just Dance 2021. That's definitely coming out.
I'll push you off that stool.
Man, Just Dance don't hate on Just Dance.
I don't play those. That's just not me.
You get catered to play them.
Do I kick anybody in it?
You can.
Did I stab anybody? Shoot.
You can do a stab motion as part of a dance.
That's not, no. I want to see the blood of my enemies.
Okay, well, fine. You start. I'm starting. What we doing?
You go ahead.
All right.
I'm still defeated, man.
I'm doing these not in terms of like most excited because I don't really know exactly how I want them, but
I know what I'm most excited for.
I'm doing my order is going to be in terms of the release dates.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is Dreams.
I don't know what that is.
Comes out February 14th, Valentine's Day. Play it with your lover. Have a good time. It is developed by Media Molecule.
Okay.
Published by Sony.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be it's a Sony exclusive. If you're not familiar with Media Molecule, they did the Little Big Planet series.
Oh, yeah.
And the Tearaway games. Yeah. Tearaway was on the first Tearaway was on your favorite system, our system you always champion, PlayStation Vita. One thing that Media Molecule, it's a British-based developer. Their games on Metacritic, I kind of did a little bit of research. Their lowest rated game was Little Big Planet 3 with a 79, which is pretty good on Metacritic. They've had 3 different Little Big Planet games, 2 Tearaway games, and maybe like there were some spin-off Little Big Planet games.
Oh, okay.
But Media Molecule is very well known for developing these games where you kind of create stuff and create new experiences based on whatever the tool set is. Mm-hmm. They kind of started with Little Big Planet 1 in terms of letting you create your own levels. Mm-hmm. Tens of thousands of levels were created that are really good. Dreams is the new evolution of that, where it is a game-making software, and the stuff that people are making is ridiculous. There are people who are just going around recreating. Anytime you have a game creation software, somebody's always going to make Mario World 1-1
Mm-hmm.
because that's just what you do. And people have made incredible recreations of Mario. But the software is so robust that you can make different types of games. Like you can make a sports game, you can make an RPG, you could probably make a fighting game, you can make all kinds of different games within it. You can make movies in it too, and you can create your own music. It's a very robust system. Last year, there was an early access beta that you could buy, and if you bought that, that gave you access to the full game in December or in February. I bought it. I've loved what I've played so far, but the full release is February 14th. So that's mine.
That's your number one?
Not my number one. I'm just going in order when they come out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what my thing is.
Well, since we're going in order,
that's just for me. You can go in whatever order.
Well, I was gonna go with I'm really excited for a couple of games, but the 2 that I'm most excited about is I don't even care. I'm a homer. I love this game. When I first played it, I didn't know anything about it. It really spoke to me. I've played it 3 times now. Last of Us Part 2.
There we go. Okay.
I have that is probably as far as that's as close as a masterpiece I think you can get to. In my personal opinion. If I did a decade, which we probably could have done, like a decade's list of games.
We could do all kinds of year and retrospective stuff. Yeah.
That is probably up there.
So developed by Naughty Dog.
Released by Sony. It's an exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the year. As far
Of the
as
first one? Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is like not just the year of the first one, but the year that where does this take place with the characters?
Oh, right.
I know you see
It's
Joel,
in Pittsburgh, right?
You see Joel. He's a whole lot older. He wasn't a young man to begin with.
Sorry, you're talking about you don't know where the new one takes place.
Yeah.
Because the first one was in Pittsburgh, I think, right?
I'm not sure because
Okay.
remember they traveled 3 different places.
Yeah.
So remember they left one place, and then they went to where his brother was, and then from where Joel, then they went to go deliver her. I'm trying to remember what her name is right now.
With the girl?
Yeah.
Ellie.
I thought it was Ellie, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
This game, more so than any other, plays, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody. I've said that a lot. This game plays like what Kojima wants to do. Kojima has always said, I want this to be an experience, and don't get me wrong, a lot of his games are. But sometimes the cutscenes takes you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The Last of Us, their cutscenes, the way the game is animated, the characters, you feel as if you are a part of the game. And The Last of Us, the reason why the beginning of the game starts with Joel and his daughter and his brother, I did not see that little girl die. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, spoiler if you hadn't played Last of Us, I apologize.
Last of Us has been out for years, so I'm okay with it. It's spoiler alert, but it's, yeah, all right.
Joel's daughter dies in the beginning of that game. I didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should have, but it's still the emotional weight that game gives to the characters and the people in the game who die, who don't make it, who turn against you. It really was a situation where I was like, this is an emotional experience. And if they can capture half, 70%, it would be a masterpiece.
Talk to me for a second about the change, or if you feel like the change at Naughty Dog. Because before Last of Us, this is Neil Druckmann and, I can't remember the other guy's name.
The other guy's name is Gustavo, no, that's the composer, I'm sorry.
Neil Druckmann and...
Haley Gross.
I don't know, was he the first one? I don't know, I know Neil Druckmann. But before him being the main writer, they had Amy Hennig.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who did the Uncharted series.
And remember, she left.
Yeah. And they never really fully explained what the reason for her leaving was. We know that Uncharted it was a runaway success. Naughty Dog was known for...
Taking a long time.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Naughty Dog was known for Uncharted. And then Last of Us came out, and they kind of became known for Last of Us. And Uncharted, not that it took a back burner, but it wasn't the premier thing.
Remember when Last of Us came out, they hadn't brought out... Uncharted 4 hadn't come out yet. 3 was the last game.
Right.
Naughty Dog drops Last of Us, and it literally was not only an explosion, it was at the end of the life cycle of the PlayStation 3. Mm-hmm. Ported over to the PS4, it caught a whole new generation of fans because people play it. I have it on both consoles. Mm-hmm. I have it on the PS3. I have it on the PS4. I have a digital copy of the game. Like I have every version of this game you can get.
Did you play the DLC?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't tell me about it because I told you I still ain't played Last of Us. I'm sorry, not that I haven't played it. I haven't finished Last of Us. I have a save on my PS4 because they came when I bought the PS4.
I used to chastise you for not finishing games, but I'm not gonna lie. There's 2 games that I have not finished and going back to, and I'm like, I can see it now a little bit.
It happens, man.
It depends on the game, but this one was one of the ones I can't. I had to finish it. Mm-hmm. It was almost like a compulsive, like I was just fiending. I had to finish it.
Yeah.
So Naughty Dog became known for Last of Us, rightfully so. Then they did Uncharted 4. Because to me, Uncharted could have been done after 3.
Yeah,
I think 4 was okay.
Amy Hennig had a Uncharted 4 version that didn't come out.
No.
That was Amy Hennig was spearheading. Then she left.
And then
Neil Druckmann took over.
And they went in a different direction.
Yeah. Uncharted 4 is definitely darker, but I still liked it.
See, to me, I was not a fan of this whole, and maybe that's just me. I wasn't a fan. I didn't become a fan of the long lost brother until like way into the game. To me he felt like you ever like watch a show and you're like, that's a skeevy character. I always felt like that way.
Yeah, Sam.
And so the 4 took me out of it.
Okay.
I still think, to me, 2 and 3 are the best Uncharted games ever.
Did you play the DLC with
Yep.
the Chloe Fraser
Crusade or whatever?
Lost Legacy?
Lost Chronicles? I don't know.
Uncharted, whatever the DLC was. It was fun.
I got it. It was maybe a 20-hour game,
Yeah.
if that. Might have been 10. I enjoyed it. I really did. I think the voice work on Uncharted is part. Uncharted and Naughty Dog and Last of Us are the pinnacle of video gaming. Like, if you can get to that level, you are in a class by yourself.
So you put them up there, like, I think Rockstar's at that level. Like, in terms of, because Rockstar makes 2 games, and they take as much time as they want. They make a Grand Theft Auto game, and they make a Red Dead game.
See, this is the difference between me and some of the other people. I can give you Red Dead Redemption. I never played it, so I can understand that. I'm not an open world game like that. It doesn't affect me the same way. Not that I'm knocking it. I played it. It just wasn't for me. I love a linear storyline. I don't need multiplayer. I don't need any of that. I love a great story. And when I say up there as far as a narrative, no one does a better narrative than Naughty Dog. And even though I didn't like Uncharted 4 as much as the other ones, that whole series, bar none, you can't pick another series that pound for pound, game for game, gets better and better and better. Whether it become the story, whether it's gameplay, you can't find one. It's hard to say this is better than this. That's in a class by itself with your Red Dead Redemptions, with your Grand Theft Autos. It's there. So, the one thing I love about The Last of Us, it's kind of like, it reminds me of Toy Story 4. You know they were going to make it, but you know they were going to take their time and only do it if they had the right story behind it.
Right.
Because a lot of people were like, I don't need a Last of Us 2. And then we saw it. And then
The trailers we have seen for this game look so good.
then we saw the gameplay and we were like, okay, we're in. Because remember, everybody at Toy Story 3 was like, we're out. You don't need to make another one. We don't need to know what happens after these toys. We already know.
Right.
When Toy Story 4 came out, we were like, okay, we're in.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about The Last of Us. That, to me, this is my game. I'm already calling it. This is going to be in the running for Game of the Year.
Oh, for sure.
Without an article, without any plane, without any major catastrophes, this game may win Game of the Year over anything else if it's just as good as the original.
Sure, I'll give you that.
So Ellie's storyline, we're seeing a lot of Ellie. We're seeing a lot of her. Whoever these guys or these enemies are, I'm interested because that's what makes your game. Not only the clickers, it's not just the clickers and not just this world. It reminds me a lot of watching The Quiet Place Part 2.
The trailer?
Yep. Because A Quiet Place, a lot of people are like, you don't need another one. And then we saw the trailer, we're like, yeah, we're back, we're in. And Cillian Murphy's thing when Emily Blunt's character says, there's got to be other people out there. And Cillian Murphy says, there's nobody worth saving. That's the world that I think we're getting introduced to in The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Where you have these communities where these people are great, but there's a whole bunch of other people who survived that ain't worth saving.
Right.
And to me, that trailer exemplifies the best parts of this game. Please, Naughty Dog, don't delay it.
You mean again?
Yeah.
Because it was already delayed.
It's been delayed twice.
I don't know. It's been probably a few times.
All of my games are delays.
Yeah.
All these games have hurt my heart. So that to me, this. There's 2 but this is number 1, and then there's 1A. But this to me is the one that I'm like, I'm buying day 1.
Okay.
I may buy I talked to the wife. I may get like some kind of, whatever.
Superset or
I don't
collector's
know.
edition?
Depends on what it is. I don't know. This is the one I'm looking forward to.
Okay, my second game is 2 Point Hospital. I realized as I go through these, you're like, I don't know any of these games.
I don't, and I almost thought you just said some gibberish.
Yeah, 2 Point Hospital. It is a simulation style game where you run a hospital.
Hospital?
TWOPOINT. 2-point hospital.
Continue.
Yeah. Let me make sure.
Nope, no,
Okay.
keep talking. I'm gonna look this up because I've never heard of it. Oh wow! As soon as I typed in, it came up.
Yeah. It's developed by 2-Point Studios, and it's published by Sega. Mm-hmm. Do you remember a game called Theme Hospital?
I can already tell you no.
Theme Hospital was a game on PC and PlayStation made by. There was a developer that EA owned called Bullfrog Studio. Mm-hmm. They did like Dungeon Keeper. You remember Dungeon Keeper?
Nope.
Man, Leroy, you don't know nothing. We did not play the same games growing
up. No, I told you.
Clearly.
I told you we did. If you didn't kill a person or stab a person, I didn't play it.
Anyway, the point of Theme Hospital was to run a hospital. It kind of has a Sims feel where it's a little bit goofy. Everything starts off nice, and then people come with crazier and crazier addictions, or not addictions, ailments. And you gotta run the hospital successfully. Okay. It was a fun game. It had a very quirky sense of humor. I really enjoyed it. So 2-Point Hospital is the spiritual successor. Okay. The PC version came out last year. And actually it might have come out 2018, and a bunch of DLC came out for 2019. But on February 25th, it's finally coming to consoles. So Xbox One, Switch, and PS4. I'm probably going to buy 2 different versions, the PS4 and the Switch, just so I can play it at home and play it on the go.
Really?
Yeah. That's
love for a game.
I mean, I enjoy that type of game.
There are very few games I would do that for. That's love.
I enjoy. I mean, yeah, you said you did it for Last of Us.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
I enjoy those kind of games in terms of like a simulation of, hey, can you keep this hospital running? Got several different plates up in the air. Will they not close you? Can you do research? Mm-hmm. It's just fun. I'm excited for it.
All right.
Yeah.
2-Point Hospital.
Yeah.
My next game on the list is a recent game, and I honestly didn't think I'd be into it, because I saw it got delayed. All my games are delayed. Doom Eternal, because it was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah.
I played Doom 3. Doom 3 got me into Doom. We did the video. We did the trailer. We saw it. I was blown away by the gameplay. I really was. Mm-hmm. Some of the comments, we got a lot of comments, and a lot of people.
A lot of people telling us, hey, y'all, we need to play 2016.
And I'll be honest with you.
I have downloaded Doom 2016 as part of a shameless plug, Xbox Game Pass. I've downloaded it, so I'll start playing it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was interested in the game, and then I got disappointed because all my games get delayed that I wanted. And it got delayed. And I kind of was like, I'm not going to lie, I was down. Mm-hmm. It was y'all who hyped me back up to play Doom again. Mm. Because it wasn't until I saw that trailer, saw the enthusiasm from people who were like, dude, go play Doom, like this is a spiritual successor. This is that. It was the community of people who love Doom, who got me back to saying, I'm going to give this game another chance.
Yeah.
Because when you get so hyped for something and then it doesn't come out, it's like Christmas and you got socks.
Yeah.
It's like you were looking for this, and then somebody's like, hey, we got you socks because you were talking about socks.
Yeah.
You want to fight somebody. And so that's how I thought about Doom. I saw the game, and I was like, holy crap. If they're going to deliver what's in this trailer, I'm all on board.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. The commenters, there's DLC exactly what we asked for. There's a human element of people. What happens when hell comes to earth?
Right.
That's part of the DLC. I'm on board. So that I'm all on board for a great first-person shooter. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Rage 2 really let me down. I love the first Rage. Borderlands 3 is long. Borderlands 2 is long as hell.
Yeah.
I've never played 3. I didn't even get into 3, even though I was excited, because I'm like,
There's something nice about having a game that is 20 hours, 15 hours.
Yeah, man. Like,
people are getting older. It's tough
I got stuff to do, man.
60, 80 hours in a game now.
Son, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Death Stranding, but that game was too long. Kojima, we need to talk, bro. Like,
friend of the show, Hideo Kojima, you know what you did. Come talk to us.
Jeff Keighley, get Kojima. You can come on too.
Right.
Bring your interpreter.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about the campaign is not going to be this huge. Like, I miss that. Mm-hmm. And I miss a great first-person shoot 'em up. And Doom Eternal looks to be that game.
Bethesda, we believe in you.
It's software, Bethesda. I'm on board. Like the combination, and this is the one thing I love about the internet, and I love about gaming culture. The people who are a fan of something will get you hyped for something and bring you back into something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
I loved playing Doom 3. I really did. I loved it. I loved it so much that I was like, I got my dad was watching me play it. And we were like, Dad was like, oh, my dad, shut up, I'm dying here. Like, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that. And so the community, when we saw the comments and we asked Master Chief versus Doom Guy, Doom Marine, whatever.
It wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close. Like,
I didn't think it would be. I just wanted to start the conversation. I was like, y'all, I agree that Doom Guy would win, but y'all was like, Halo ain't nothing. I was like, dang.
They curb stopped Master Chief.
Yeah, John Spartan.
So, they curb stopped Master Chief in the comments, and I was like, yo.
Yeah.
But it was a trailer, but it was also the community that really got me hyped for the game. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I was like, thanks, guys. Because I needed something that's not like, I picked Last of Us, and I know that's going to be emotional. I'm going to need to talk to a counselor.
I don't know. And you know what? Another thing that has stopped me from playing Last of Us, the first one, or finishing it, is because it's so intense. I told you how I feel about like scary and horror stuff, like the sensation it gives me. I kind of get that sensation with Last of Us, and it's kind of like I almost want to do a Let's Play because it's so intense that I feel like it puts me.
It does give you intense, but it's also the intensity of the characters, that the voice actors, and I don't know their names off the top of my head, but they do an excellent job. Like when people are like, voice acting, they get an award for that? Yeah. Oh, you talk about Gears of War 5. People talk about Control. Last of Us, you can't tell me those people are not acting.
Oh, yeah.
There's no, those actors embody those characters.
Yeah.
And so I want to play something that's totally opposite of just curb stomping some things that deserve to get it.
Yeah.
I'm sending everything and everybody back to hell.
There we go. Man, we have such differing lists.
Yeah.
My games are so about creation and being light and happy. Like, kill this person.
I'm about
kill that person.
Shotgunning.
My next game, my game 3.
Is another hug game?
Compared to this, I mean, there's a little bit of like maybe killing enemies, but it's more like Mario bouncing on heads.
Okay.
Comes out March 11th. Okay. Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Oh yeah, that looks interesting.
Yeah. So the first one was Ori and the Blind Forest. I don't remember what year it came out.
What platform does it come out on?
It is on PC and Xbox, and I'm pretty sure Xbox bought Moon Studios, so I think they're exclusive, or if they're not, they gave them a lot of money to make the game or whatever. But Moon Studios is developing it. Xbox Game Studios is publishing it, and it looks so good. Everything about Ori, like the Ori franchise now at this point, the visuals.
Came out 2015.
Okay, yeah, the visuals, the sound, like the audio quality of it is something else. The level design, it's essentially a Metroidvania style game in terms of like a Super Metroid or Castlevania. You go through, you collect different power-ups that let you do other things to go to different parts of the world. It's just such a beautifully done game. Like the first 5 minutes of the game kind of reminds you of like the first 5 minutes of Up. In terms of there's no dialogue, you just have sound, and you get a complete story of like, oh, it's gut-wrenching. Yeah. I don't want to give any spoilers away for people who haven't played the first one, but if you have access to an Xbox, or actually you have access to a Switch now,
because you told me the Switch, it's on Switch now.
Yeah, the first one is on Switch now. I might buy that game again too.
Question:
Yeah.
Is it? So one of the things that people always complain about when it comes to Nintendo or some of the ports. Does it look as amazing on the Switch as it did? Because it's 2015 graphics, so Switch came out, so the graphics shouldn't be that off.
So it's a technical powerhouse in terms of like the art direction. Now, I don't know how graphically intensive it is. I mean, you can see like the landscapes, how detailed they look, but it's not like something like a Crysis was back in the day, or like Cyberpunk is going to be.
Crysis.
Yeah.
Man.
Another shooting game.
Dude, you got a compound bow and got to shoot aliens in the face with
it. It may not be as graphically intensive as that, but it still runs well on the Switch and it looks great.
Okay.
But yeah, Ori and the Will of the Wisps looks to continue that animation, continue the audio quality, continue the character even though nobody speaks in the game, Ori has a complete character arc, which is great. The enemy has the main enemy in the Blind Forest has a complete arc, and you understand why that character is your enemy based on what happened. You'll be like, oh, I feel for the enemy because what happened.
Okay.
I'm just excited.
I will say that every time this game we talk about this, your excitement does pique my interest in getting, if I got a Switch to play this game, because I don't have a PC anymore.
Right.
I would play this game just because of you were like, you should check this out.
It's just fun. Again, I tell you, I think Katie would like something like it too. It's a game that can definitely be beaten, and even once you beat it, like if you get into the speedrunning community of trying to beat it super fast, the people that are really good at speedrunning the first one are ridiculous in terms of going through stuff.
I'm not good at that.
You can give your own challenges and stuff like that. The game was originally supposed to come out last year, got pushed to February, and then during Xbox E3 event that you can watch on our YouTube channel right now, we found out that it got delayed again to March.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's going to be the last delay. And we've talked about a lot of delays here, but there's a quote that is, I'll kind of bastardize the quote, but it's from Shigeru Miyamoto, the guy who gave us Mario, all those Nintendo franchises. A bad game is bad forever. Yes. But a delayed game, see, I don't even know, I can't.
A delayed game has the potential to be good.
Yeah, right, yeah. A bad game that comes out is bad forever.
It's bad forever. Yeah. A delayed game has the potential to be good.
Delay it and make it good. I'm okay with that. So that's my third game, Ori in the Will of the Wisps.
I had to switch up because I swear all of my games are delayed.
Come into the story. Tell them your first game.
My first game was Dying Light 2, which I missed, delayed indefinitely. Like everything else I want to play, delayed.
Maybe that'll be the cold open of this. Maybe I will keep that play from whatever. But yeah, Leroy didn't realize Dying Light 2 got delayed because, as we talked about at the beginning of this video, we said it has to have a definitive date. Yeah. And when Leroy said Dying Light 2, I was like, do you not know? He didn't know it got delayed.
I had no idea. Yeah. So I knew about the other games, and it just didn't end up in my feed. I didn't see it. I like Dying Light.
Now, is that the one that's the parkour?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So I like that one only because, well, there's a couple of things I liked about it. I like the idea of night and day. Yeah. About the one thing I think a lot of games don't do well is when night and day happens, the enemies and the environment should change. I think Dying Light did a good job of that. I liked a zombie first-person parkour kind of game. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. And anytime you get to build weapons or all that kind of stuff, I think that's interesting. Dying Light 2, the reason why I picked that also was because there was a sense of community and choices. How you handle things will determine the game, and also building up your base or supplies and that kind of thing. So Dying Light 2, don't know what's coming out, so I switched. I picked Resident Evil 3, and I didn't want to pick the big AAA games, whatever. But
that is April of this year, right?
April of this year. Yeah. Resident Evil 3 caught me off guard because I thought, let's be honest. Some of these old school games do not have good dialogue, have horrible, stereotypical depictions of people. Mm-hmm. Carlos is one of those games in Resident Evil 3. Go back and listen to some of the dialogue in some of these games. Yeah. There's a scene that's like, I think she's gonna like me and I'm sensei. And I'm like, this job what the. Yeah. So when I saw it and I heard the characters, now don't get me wrong, I'm still not okay with Carlos's bangs.
He looking fresh in 2020, man.
I'm still not okay with that, but the gameplay from 2, when we played 2, that game, Resident Evil 2,
the remake
was amazing. Mm-hmm. I have my quibbles about it being Game of the Year because it was a remake, but I can't deny the artistic achievement and the evolution of that game. Yeah. So they did 3 the same way they did 2. That's going to be an awesome game.
The rumor was that RE2 and RE3 were supposed to be one package together. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then for whatever reason, that just didn't happen.
Money.
Probably
because you can still charge $59.99 for both of these games.
Yeah, so probably money. but they split them up, and I guess as a way to kind of compromise, you do get that Resident Evil Resistance.
And that's another thing that I thought was cool about RE3,
Yeah.
because you get a whole ass another game for that.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I picked Resident Evil 3. Again, I wanted Dying Light 2.
Published and developed by Capcom.
Yes.
For Resident Evil, yeah.
But thanks to, games.
Games.
And you know what? I'm as disappointed as I can be with some games being delayed. As long as you're not killing your employees with this crunch, as long as you're not killing your employees to,
We're going to hit that in this video.
Let your game be delayed, man.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. As much as I want to play Last of Us, I can wait.
Yeah.
Every time it's delayed, and I'll be honest with you, Last of Us delay never really hit me hard, because that's one of those games, because I knew how good it was, the original. I'm like, take all the time you need. I'm okay with Last of Us being delayed for a whole nother year.
Answering news questions.
Yeah, I'm okay with Last of Us being delayed a whole nother year, if it need be. So I'm okay with that. But I picked Resident Evil 3. I think that looks great. I think that the giving minor characters more of a story. And I think one of the things I think that the movies did horribly, that the games get right, is giving that other idea of what's going on in the Resident Evil universe. That's that whole idea of here's what's going on over here, here's what's going on over here, here's what's going on over here. And those characters a little bit crossing over, but that whole idea of something going on around you. I'm all for RE3.
Talking about Avery.
Never mind.
All right, so my number 4. So the last 3, I think they're well known for me. Maybe not as big. Ori's, people are talking about Ori. Nobody's talking about 2 Point Hospital. Some people are talking about Dreams. Everybody's talking about my next game, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Y'all have fun with that.
Comes out April 10th. It was supposed to be in March. It got pushed back. Only a few weeks, which isn't horrible. It's coming out from Square Enix. The people that were responsible for the first one.
Time out.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge something. If you guys have been watching this channel from the beginning, do y'all realize he's come full circle on this? Because you've always said how much Resident Evil 7 is overrated.
No, Final Fantasy 7, not Resident Evil 7.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally different game.
Did I say Resident Evil? Because if I did, I meant Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
That might have been me. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah,
either way.
I did say Final Fantasy 7 is overrated. And I still say it's overrated.
And the fact that you've come around to getting this is wild to me.
We talk about character arcs. You should see my character arc over the course of this channel, because I still say the game's overrated.
And the fact that you went all in.
But I went all in and got the super duper expensive edition with the bike and all that stuff. I bought that. Yeah, they got me. What can I say? It looks good.
Don't get me wrong. It looks good.
To me, my favorite Final Fantasy is still Final Fantasy 6/3 here in America. Kefka, one of the best Final Fantasy bosses of all time. He's great. His laugh is awesome. Final Fantasy 7, to me, the translation, and this is well documented, the translation to English was never done great or never done well. So some of the way they talk and the dialogue is just off to me. And I always just thought it was overrated. But with them kind of focusing on Midgar and expanding that world, I am excited to see what they do with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I do think it's BS that it's only Midgar or whatever that is. It's a part 1 and it's not the full game. Square Enix.
But you paying full game price?
I know, I'm paying full game price.
That trips me out though.
That's a ballsy move.
That's a baller move. Hey, you want this game? We're remaking it. Boom, buy it in parts.
Yeah. So the game's made by Square Enix, and I think this has been confirmed, but it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive until 2021. People have been asking Square, hey, is this going to come to anything else? And they never said no. The thing they always kept saying is, this is a PlayStation exclusive for right now. And then I don't know if you remember last year, IGN had it and some other outlets had it of some type of press description or some type of maybe screenshot that was affiliated to Xbox, and that came down super fast. Nobody ever really explained what happened, but they came back and said, PlayStation 4 time exclusive. So I can imagine once 2021 or 2022 rolls around, we'll see it on Xbox and whatever.
Xbox X Series.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, whatever the new Xbox is going to be. And I'm curious, they probably would. They'll release whatever part 2 is going to be, and then also maybe re-release 1 for the Xbox.
Or would they do it all on one disc? Or like if you're Xbox, would they release? You can buy 2, or whatever part, or you can just buy both of them.
Yeah, and we say both of them like it's only going to be 2 parts. Man, it could be a lot because Midgar is not a large portion of the game, so it's not like that's half of the game. It's not. If you remember when Final Fantasy VII came out, it was 3 discs. So it'll be interesting if there's 3 parts, but I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So that's your...
Yeah.
So for me, my 4 is 12 minutes.
That looks cool.
My 4 is 12 minutes. It came. The trailer was at E3 when it
Yeah,
came
Xbox E3.
It came out E3. It's the reason, and this is the game. This is the thing. Sometimes a game doesn't wow you until you know the backstory about it. One of the things about this game, the reason why it wowed me is the artist who's behind this game worked for Rockstar and Ubisoft. His name is Luis Antonio. It's from the Annapurna Interactive.
They've been doing good stuff.
So this is what got my interest. What Remains of Edith Finch, Outer Wilds, Florence. When those are you, that's what you brought to the table. That's when I was like, oh, y'all made this? Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
The idea behind it is also, which is a very interesting game. The idea is that this is a husband and wife. They're having a discussion. A cop shows up to the door. There's a murder. There's a cop trying to investigate something, and you have 12 minutes to figure out, and the game resets. If you don't make it, it resets. You know a little bit more of what happens, but the idea behind this game is what intrigues me. One of the things I think a lot of people, and the movies do this too, so it's not just games. One of the things I think people do a bad job with is amnesia and time travel. This is a game that isn't like robots are coming from the future to take over the past. It's not that. It's a very intimate game, and just this little box here, that whole idea of how you can animate something and make it so intriguing is what drew me to this game. The animation. Now, this is the thing that, and I say this now, it's only coming to Microsoft or PC or Xbox, so I have to buy an Xbox to play this thing.
I think it'll come to other stuff. Like maybe it's like a timed exclusive like Final Fantasy.
It might be, but the thing is, I was going to buy an Xbox no matter what. This just gives me another reason to say, yeah, you need to go ahead and get one. So it's one of those games where I was like, I don't play a lot of these smaller games like I used to, and I should. And this just seems something that it's so interesting. It's so character driven. And the reason why I said that the whole time travel thing is because it's this finite amount of time that it fits in. And I think a lot of movies, I think a lot of video games do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And I was watching, one of the things I was watching with Greg Schofield, who is the creator of Dead Space. One of the things he talks about, and I think this is a studio that is doing a good job of this. Let's take a genre and turn it on its head. If Annapurna Interactive isn't literally the walking, talking version of that, taking a genre and literally turning it on its head and giving you something different, I don't know who is. Greg Schofield, there's a video on, I think, from The Verge, where he talks about making Dead Space. And honestly, I would love if more games did this, where your developers, your animators actually sat down and talked about how they did things.
Oh yeah, like a developer roundtable?
Yeah. Not just a roundtable, but just a behind the scenes, kind of like what they did with God of War.
Yeah, like a year after God of War came out, they released like an hour-long doc on YouTube, making a Kratos or something, whatever it's called. It was really good.
I would love to see, and that's why I said this, as I was watching that trailer, watching this, a 20-minute clip, him talking about the different things that they did. it made me much more interested because it reminded me that the people who are behind these games, a lot of them, don't get me wrong, there are some trash games that come out, but here's a studio that's, you can tell these people are making these games and they're making it out of, not, yes, they are getting paid, they are making money, but they're making this out of the love of games.
They have a passion for it.
They have a passion for it, and this looks like something. This isn't a. When I look at 12 minutes, I'm like, that's not a cash grab. This is something somebody. This is a labor of love for somebody,
Yeah.
and I want to support that. So that's what 12 minutes is for me.
Okay. Quick shout out. If we're talking about time loop games, I would recommend everybody play Sexy Brutal. That is on Xbox One and PS4.
You told me there's another one too.
I did.
Yeah, there's another one where the same thing keeps happening, and there's another game that's coming out that reminded you.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a guy's name. The life of such and such.
Oh, I don't know.
I remember the game,
Yeah.
and you were like, oh yeah, that's because they're re-releasing it.
I gotta figure out whatever that is.
Oh, I can't.
But Sexy Brutal, yeah, that's the time shout out for in terms of time loop games. My last game. Now again, these aren't the games that I think are going to be the best games. These are the ones that I'm most anticipated for, most excited for. Marvel's Avengers, September 4th. I don't know if it's going to be a good game. I'm excited for it. I think it could be. And again, when we went back to that Shigeru Miyamoto quote of delaying a game, delay this game and make it good. I'm okay with that. It was supposed to come out in May. It got pushed back to September 4th. I'm fine with that. Give it more time, more polish to be great. It has the potential to be like what Destiny is, but for like comic book superheroes and stuff. That would be cool. You team up with 3 other buddies to take on some Marvel villain as you guys collect loot, do ammo or costume customization, all that kind of stuff, talking with your friends. I think it could be really cool. Yeah, that's Marvel's Avengers. Like, I don't have much to say about it. I just want it to be good.
I'm on
Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics.
I'm on the fence about this. If Square Enix was making it by themselves without Crystal Dynamics, I'd be probably more excited about it. But the character models seem just okay. I haven't the gameplay. I haven't got a chance to play it. I've seen videos. The one thing that interests me is Miss Marvel being in the game, so I'm excited about that. But I'm hesitant. I've been burned before.
Yeah.
I think still to this day some of the best video games are Maximum Carnage and the Batman games. That you can't really. Spider-Man is the one glowing example of a recent video game that was based on a comic property that was good. And even that character, the way Peter Parker looked was.
Yeah.
But I got past that because the gameplay was so awesome. So I'm hoping we can do that again.
The thing about this is, a couple years ago, or a while ago, Marvel, before they kind of got their blank together and figured out how they should be doing games, they would just let anybody do whatever they want, kind of with their characters. Or not everybody, but it just seemed like anybody.
They were like, you want to make a game? Here.
Yeah. And I don't know who's.
Kind of like they did with movies.
Yeah. I can't remember who took over Marvel Games division, and I can't remember his name.
Kevin Feige.
Not Kevin Feige. Could have been.
Kevin Feige ruled everything.
They started like being more selective about who they let develop what. And that gave us Spider-Man, which graphics are, people think it looks great. I don't think it looks great. But
I think it looks okay, but the way it plays.
Yeah, it played, the gameplay is bar none. It's great. So I'm excited that Crystal Dynamics is doing this because this is also the studio that gave us the Lara Croft reboots. Those games are good.
They are.
The stories are fun. The gameplay is great, and they do each one from Shadow to Rise to whatever the other one is, Shadow Rise, whatever the last 3 were. They've expanded on open world combat and gameplay and doing side missions and stuff. So I'm excited to see that come together. But I am hesitant because you kind of got to get this right.
You can't F this up.
Yeah, because we've seen that in the past of these games as service models of when Destiny first came out, it wasn't good. People liked it, but it wasn't as well loved as it is now. When Battlefront came out, people hated it.
People still hate Battlefront.
People do, but and the thing about it is, more people like Battlefront now. But the issue is there was so much hate. You're not hearing about that. Also, Anthem. Where Anthem at?
Anthem is still garbage.
Right.
I own garbage. I own it.
That's what I'm saying.
I said I own garbage.
There's been a precedent of these games to service, these games to service games coming out and be like, oh, we'll be kind of crappy and we'll develop it. And I'm not saying that you can't do that, but I don't think you should do that with Avengers. You need to be out the gate strong.
I'm a big Division fan. I own both games. Never traded them in. You can buy them for $10 right now. You can look right now on my computer. There's a Season 1 pass that I'm about to buy right now. Division, when it first came out, was horrible. And Ubisoft listened. My problem with these games are it's kind of taking what you said. What they'll do is they'll release a game. They'll say, here's the game. You paid $60 for it. And what do you get that first day you buy it? Patch.
Yeah.
And that patch is 20 gigs.
That's the standard for everything now.
But the problem is, at least if it's a campaign game, you can play the game without that multiplayer update. Those games you can't do that with, and that's the one problem that I have with those kind of games.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm hesitant, because I'm like, if it was just a campaign game, I'd say campaign, but just you could have the main campaign without having the networking, without having all of those service things that you have to have with the.
We do know there is a single player game to this. There is a single player game.
But we don't know if you can play that without having, because you can't. We know the Division, Destiny, all these other games have a single player campaign, but it's always got to be connected, and you got to have the most updated patch to play with other people.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about when it comes to this game. $60, download whatever patch, and it sucks. And they're like, oh, we need to, and you're like, you should have figured this out before. And that's why I say, take as long as you need. But I'm already skeptical going in, because we don't get a lot of good video games.
Right.
Based on
comic book stuff.
Based on comic book stuff or movies. So I'm hesitant.
The game that isn't supposed to be based on Marvel's Avengers, even though they look like the Marvel's Avengers
and that's
movie.
the problem. I know some people will be like, you got to be look, I'm a comic nerd. I'm like, I've been a comic nerd from day one. You can't tell me that's not based on the MCU. I'm sorry. Because if it wasn't, then why do you have the literal MCU Avengers in there?
Well,
so,
like the color schemes, like the outfits look very similar to the other Avengers, but
and
whatever.
My thing is, and I understand you're leveraging a property that that's already in the zeitgeist, so you're using characters. You could have easily threw in some other characters, different characters, if you wanted to differentiate it yourself.
And they are coming, because we've heard Ant-Man's going to be in the game as DLC, supposed
another
to be free.
MCU character.
True, but at least he wasn't like the original movie MCU Avenger, so that's
true. But see, I guess my problem with it is, if you were going to do a Marvel's Avengers game, bring in some Avengers we have never seen, or bring in some Avengers that are not your name. Like, don't give me a Falcon. Give me some people who are not your marquee, your literal number 5, your 5 big Avengers.
Right.
When they said Miss Marvel, you got my interest.
Yeah.
When you said Miss Marvel, that's when I was like, oh, you're doing something different. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm interested. You want to do something different? Put in Daredevil. Put in Luke Cage. Give me Shi-Chang. Give me some of these other characters that eventually will come to movies, but they're not household names.
Did you say Shi-Chang or Chang-Chi?
I said Shi-Chang. I did.
Okay.
Chang-Chi.
Okay. Just making sure. All right.
And give me some other characters that aren't your big marquee, that have, Tom Hiddleston attached to, or
right.
So that's my big whatever. I talked about Avengers long enough.
All right. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is the game I've been waiting for since 2012. Since it was announced when the Wild Hunt came out.
A game that I'm still convinced is only coming to next-gen consoles. I'm still convinced until I see it.
It got delayed from April the 16th to the 3 days after my birthday, September the 17th. I'm hoping it's a birthday present to me. Cyberpunk 2077. If you've been a faithful watcher of this channel, you know that I've had my heart broken every single time I mention this game. I'm
You're
gonna
supposed to shave your beard.
Shut up. Nobody remembers that.
I'm just saying. Hey, y'all should go back and watch our Xbox Reacts video for 2019 E3.
When we got the beautiful Keanu Reeves come on stage.
Yeah.
So here's a little backstory about this game. It was originally announced in May 2012. The original staff that was put on this game when it came out was about 50 people. So this is in 2012. At the time, they were getting out The Witcher Part 3, or Witcher 3. It comes from CD Projekt Red.
Mm-hmm.
The CD Projekt made all the Witcher games. The third one is probably the one that everybody's like, oh my gosh, the pinnacle of gaming, open world, whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The creative team behind The Witcher 3, it was amazing. They have brought those same elements from The Witcher 3 to Cyberpunk 2077 with some of the original writers, Marcin Blacha, who is one of the writers from all of the Witcher games, and a Stanislaw Swiecki, who was another writer on The Wild Hunt. Those are two of the main writers for this game.
Okay.
So that already gives me hope for this game.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things is this staff that is on Cyberpunk is larger than the staff that was on The Witcher 3.
Okay.
So Witcher 3 is huge. It's a 80-hour campaign game, great story, a lot of side quests. This city that we're going to be in is supposedly larger than the Witcher continent that you're on.
Okay.
Which really gives me like, holy what? So that's what intrigues me. What also intrigues me is I'm a big lover of technology, cyberpunk. This to me is that game that is going to be maybe the pinnacle of bringing that world that we loved in Blade Runner, that we loved in Akira, we loved in Ghost in the Shell, seeing that world and playing and diving into that world. The only game that I think has come close to that is Deus Ex.
Okay.
And I love Deus Ex 1 and 2. I still need to finish 2 because 2 crapped out on me, and I have never forgiven it. Like my saves gone. Like I don't know what happened to Fluke. I was 2/3 of the way through that game. This is a game that I have been waiting for literal years. I can honestly say I've been waiting on this game, and I remember trying to do role playing because I remember when Dungeons and Dragons was crazy. I'm not a real big D&D, magic and fantasy. But I loved Shadowrun, which is basically sword and fantasy mixed with cyberpunk. And that whole idea blew my mind. And so to see this cyberpunk version of some of that in this game, or in this game being a cyberpunk, and that first trailer that came out, just mind-blowing. And then you throw in the music that we saw at the Video Game Awards. You saw Keanu Reeves being in here.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. We saw the gameplay. You immediately said when it first came out, I don't think this is coming out for this gen consoles. It got delayed, then it got pushed out of 2019, beginning of 2020, then it's delayed again. I'm okay with this being delayed to holiday 2020. Just tell me now. This is just, don't get me hyped to go buy this for my birthday. And you're like, yeah, November 17th.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be upset. I am. But I'm okay with it if it comes out on next gen.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
They have said, and they've stuck by this and said it's current gen. It's supposed to be on current gen systems. And they said if a next gen version comes out, it will, but it's not going to be day and date as the current gen. So maybe they're not working. Maybe it will be PS4.
One of the things
and
that they
Xbox
said,
One.
and I think I believe them. They said multiplayer will not be day one.
Right.
Which I honestly don't give a flying feather, goat, whatever you want to say. I don't care about multiplayer. I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
And I'm not a real big multiplayer. There are a couple of them I do. I don't care about that. I just want to play the game in this world. I just want to be immersed in this world, and I cannot wait for it. But I am okay if it comes out on the PS5 or whatever. But I think there are two games that I'm going to put in the category for Game of the Year. If this comes out in 2020, before the cutoff of November, whenever, Cyberpunk 2077 and Last of Us 2 will be in the running for Game of the Year. If it is as good as Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Because Witcher 3 was amazing. Like, I don't think people understand how good Witcher 3 was. You weren't getting the Witcher show if Witcher 3 hadn't come out.
That's what you think?
Yep.
Okay.
You wouldn't have gotten the Witcher 3. Game of Thrones helped it, but you would not have gotten that Witcher show with Henry Cavill and a season 2 greenlit automatically before it came out if you hadn't have gotten the Witcher 3 video game. And that shows you how good a game is. That it comes back around, baby. Witcher 3 comes out, people are like, oh my gosh, this game's amazing. People buy the books. A show comes out, people are like, oh my gosh, this show is amazing. They go back and play the game, and then they buy the books. So like, this whole revolution that's going on in gaming to books to television is amazing, but you have these people at CD Projekt, in my opinion, people may have a difference of opinion. CD Projekt Red got us the Witcher show because they made great Witcher games.
Hey, CD Projekt Red, cut down on that crunch. All I said that to say, the developers have already said the game is done and complete. They said the game is complete and playable, but they want to have more time for polish.
Yep.
And then they also said, yeah, we're going to do crunch. They have come out and said they're going to do crunch. That sucks. It is what it is.
Yep.
I was going to be on the record. Don't do crunch. All right.
Yep.
That's it for us. Right?
Well, one of the things that you mentioned is, speaking of crunch, we talked about in one of our other videos, we did a trailer reaction to Mythic Quest or Mystic Quest.
Mythic Quest, yeah.
Mythic Quest. They're going to tackle crunch in the show. So that's, I'm interested to see what's going to come of this game in 2020. And basically CD Projekt Red saying, yeah, we're doing crunch. And how that's going to affect, because there have been calls to boycott games and developers who engage in crunch. Because you get these people, you pay them X amount of money, and then you burn them out, and you cast them to the wolves. They don't have any health care, and then they got to find another gig, and then they have to do the same thing over and over and over again. And honestly, some of these creators that you have burned out, one in particular, because one of my games is from this. Luis Antonio left because he got burned out as an art designer. He left his job because he got burned out. So I'm interested to see how these games deal with these delays and literally saying, we're going to do this to get this game out. And we as gamers have to say, yeah, we don't care. You can wait. You can take your time. Because I'm okay. Like, don't get me wrong. I was disappointed when Dying Light 2 was delayed. Because I wanted to play the game. But it ain't the end of the world. And you don't kill your employees to do it.
Yeah. That'll be it for us on our 10 games overall, 5 apiece. Games looking to for 2020. We'll eventually make the movie version of this. Maybe we'll make it tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Whenever this goes up. Who knows how time works in this world.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. Like, comment, subscribe on this video. If you want to hear more about video games for us, let us know in the comments below.
Also, what are your games you're looking forward to this year? Because these are just our 5.
Yeah.
And these are the 5 that we know are coming out. Well,
my 5 are probably going to come out for sure. I feel good about my 5. Don't know about his 5.
hell, I don't even know if all my 5 are coming out.
Yeah. You can find us here on YouTube, also Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and WOTX.com. And we're out.
Peace.